glad you could join us. Obviously, this whole coronavirus thing is kind of putting a dampener on things in the way that we normally do life, and usually we'd be together tonight for youth group, but since we can't be, we thought we'd make a video for y'all. We're calling it The Daily Show, although it probably won't be daily, maybe a couple times a week. But we are wanting to maybe share some stories, some things that you can do to pass the time, maybe a couple of games, and a short devotional each time we have one of these. So, without further ado, what do you got for us, Hannah?
Okay, so there's just been a lot going on and a lot on our minds and our hearts with just a lot of things that have been canceled, a lot of things that have been postponed or closed, and we were thinking about you guys and how that is affecting your daily lives, your family's daily lives, and we thought about the saying, you know, a glass half full and a glass half empty, and how a lot of times we can look at situations like this or like any other thing that might be discouraging in life, and how it can just make it seem like life is not going well, like our glass is half empty and woe is me. There's a lot of negativity around it, and it's really easy to fall into those traps of letting yourself just think of all the bad things or things you didn't get to do, the places you didn't get to go, the people you didn't get to go hang out with. And while it's not bad to acknowledge the fact that you can't do those things, it's also really good to think about the fact that there are things to be thankful for, even in the midst of a time of where we have to be stuck in our houses and we can't do the things that we would like to do or that just seem like our everyday right to be able to do. So I was thinking about just the way that a new perspective can kind of make us think about things differently. And it made me think about a time when I was in high school, and I was a senior, and when I was in high school and middle school, I played water polo. And if you've never watched water polo before, you should Google it, and you should watch Hungary vs. USA. Look it up on Google and watch one of the games because it's amazing. And anyways, I loved playing it. It was like the best sport ever. But anyways, my senior year, I came down with this really weird disorder. It's called thoracic outlet syndrome. And what happened was I was practicing for water polo, and long story short, wound up having a blood clot, which put me in the hospital, which had me go through a bunch of tests, and they found out that I had thoracic outlet syndrome, which means that some of the veins that your blood flows through all get kind of cut off by different bands. It's
veins that your blood flows through?
Yeah, veins. Isn't that what they flow through?
Yeah, that's what all veins do. Okay,
well, veins, whatever. These bands, they form and it cuts off your supply, and it's horrible, and you can't do what you're supposed to be able to do. So anyways, I had to have surgery, and I had to have it during my senior year. And this surgery they did was able to remove the bands, and now I'm completely fine. I can do anything and everything that I was supposed to do beforehand. But anyways, my senior year, it's like I'm looking forward to it being my last season. I'm starting every game. It was a great time in my life. You know, your senior year, you get to look forward to so many amazing things. And I felt like it was all taken away from me. My teammates, they were counting on me to play with them, and I couldn't play with them. And so it was really easy for me at first to just think about all the negative stuff and how I wouldn't be able to play, I wouldn't be able to go to nationals, regionals, whatever. I wouldn't be able to be with my friends. And for a while, I just was down in the dumps about it. And then I realized that I didn't like feeling negative all the time, and that I needed to think about how God has blessed me with things besides the fact that I could play water polo. And so my perspective kind of changed when all of a sudden I wasn't in the pool, but I was out of the pool, and I was cheering on my friends, and I was giving them advice, and I was able to see what they maybe couldn't see in the pool, but I was able to see the whole pool from on deck, and I was able to say, oh, like, you should have done that, or you could do this, and next time do that, and just the perspective of not being able to play, but instead being an encouragement to my teammates. And I didn't ever get to jump in the pool my senior year, and I look back on that, and I'm sad about it, and it was a hard time for me, but at the same time I see a lot of joy in the way that I was able to be a cheerleader for the girls on my team, and for the way that God used me, just my perseverance, in the way that I was able to find joy in the fact that I could be a good friend still, and I could still participate in ways that weren't conventional. So thinking about that story, and maybe some of you are thinking about your spring sports, and maybe your senior spring break trip, or just a spring break trip in general, that maybe got canceled or closed, and the way that you can't go over and hang out with your friends, or a restaurant that you really want to go to. There's just a lot of things that can get us down, and so Travis and I tried to think of some things that we were thankful for, something like, on the brighter side, even though this is happening, or even though I can't go here, we can do this. We have been able to think of lots of things, and I'm sure that you guys can think of some things also that maybe at first glance don't look like they're things to be thankful for, but really they are in the end. So we've written down a few of them, and so I'll go first.
Well, before you get there,
okay,
we're gonna post a link, or a post on Instagram later that'll have on the bright side, and then like fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And we want y'all to, either on the Facebook page or on Instagram, once that post is up, take the time, go on there and just add in the comments, on the bright side, and fill in whatever your blank might be. So here's a couple of ideas from us.
Yeah. So I said that I have so much more time to sleep than usual. Not necessarily like I can sleep in, I could take naps during the day, so that's a brighter side.
I think, on the bright side, I haven't needed to put gas in my car this week. I put gas in the car on Monday, and it has the same amount of gas yet still. So
Right. On the brighter side, I can stay in my pajamas all day.
There's that. On the bright side, I've had time to play my new guitar that just came last week.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
On the bright side, I have been able to spend a lot more time with this guy right here, Mr. Emerson, and Travis, and our dogs. So I'm thankful for that.
Now we're gonna take them for a walk as soon as our video's done today. So we'll see how they do. They are very out of shape after a long winter.
Hey, who are you talking about? The dogs and me?
Both. On the bright side, I'm able to drink coffee at 10 p.m. because I'm up late trying to get videos and stuff done. So it gives me an excuse to drink coffee longer and later. So, there's always that.
Thankful for that. On the brighter side, I had time to paint my nails. So that's fun. I don't always get time to do that.
On the bright side, I've basically only had home-cooked meals since Sunday, with the exception of G&D's one-time late Sunday night.
Yeah, support local.
I got 2 of the last 4 slices of pizza at 10 p.m. They didn't have any more after that. That was it. I got 2 of the last slices of the last pizza at 10 p.m. Crazy.
You shouldn't be eating G&D pizza at 10 p.m. That's not going to sit well. Anyways, on the brighter side, I had time to finish an entire season of Designated Survivor. It's my favorite show on Netflix. And now I'm done. I don't have any more shows. So You could also comment with a show that I should watch on Netflix.
Yeah, because on the bright side, my last one, I've had extra time to catch up on all the cleaning around the house. I have just been stacking bills and junk mail and things that needed to be filed since Emerson was born in November. So bills were paid, but they were not filed. So literally it took like 2 hours the other night just to file stuff. So, but I've had the time to do it, so that's nice. You know,
That's right.
It's something I don't usually do.
Okay, so another way to pass the time is to have small moments of productivity in your day. So whether it's cleaning up or tidying up, just spend 20 minutes, clean it up, and you'll feel better, your family will feel better. Whether it's your bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, your family room, we're going to spend 20 minutes cleaning up. Here we go.
The last thing that we got for you is just a quick devotional and something that I was thinking about related to time. And I've been reading the Bible in a year. Some of you all know that. I posted a while back.
I'm just really behind.
Yeah,
really
what day are you on, huh?
I'm on a day.
Like, are we talking like 40s?
Anyways.
Okay. Right. So you're in like February, but that's okay. That's okay. You have, on the bright side, you have lots of time to catch up.
On the bright side, I have a lot of time to catch up on my Bible reading.
Plenty of time to catch up on Bible reading. But anyways, we have read through Exodus. That was right near the beginning of the Bible in a year plan. And I was thinking about the Sabbath. And this is what it says in Exodus chapter 31, verses 12 through 17. And the Lord said to Moses, "You are to speak to the people of Israel and say, above all, you shall keep my Sabbaths, for this is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I, the Lord, sanctify you. You shall keep the Sabbath, because it is holy for you. Everyone who profanes it shall be put to death. Whoever does any work on it, that soul shall be cut off from among his people. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of solemn rest, holy to the Lord. Whoever does any work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. Therefore the people of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observing the Sabbath throughout their generations, as a covenant forever. It is a sign forever between me and the people of Israel, that in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day he rested and was refreshed." So, obviously there's some strong language in that section there about being put to death for not observing the Sabbath, and that's obviously not something that we do anymore today, because there's this thing called grace, which is awesome. If you want to find out more about the law and the difference between law and promise and grace, check out my sermon from last week. It's on the Cadillac United Methodist page and the Henrietta United Methodist page, and it's on YouTube. So check those out if you have some time. But what I wanted to talk about today is this idea of the Sabbath. And I had this note that I'd written in my Bible, and it says, "Work is good, but even God took a full day to rest. The Sabbath is more than a suggestion, it's a covenant and a command." And the covenant that we have, it's something that's more than a rule. It's a rule, but it's also this blessing, because it's a chance to rest and to take a breather, to take a deep breath. And I think this time that we have right now during the shelter-at-home order is a time that maybe we can take advantage of the Sabbath more than what we usually do. I think a lot of times we don't take the time to take a full day to rest, right? And rest doesn't necessarily look like sleeping all day, laying around, watching TV. The Sabbath is more about taking, a 24-hour period to sit down and focus on God, focus on the way that He's blessing our lives, to refocus on what our job is and our will, what in God's will. And way back in like the early 1900s, 1920s, somewhere in there, Russia actually tried to go to a 10-day work week, and it's been something that's been done throughout history a few times, that different cultures have tried to go to a 10-day work week to be more productive, and it never works. It always fails, because into creation is built this idea of the Sabbath. They worked for 6 days and then God rested. And the Sabbath isn't a rule, it's a gift. It's an opportunity that we have to take a break and relax. To recharge, exactly. And I think, my challenge to you during this time of being stuck at home might be a chance to rethink the Sabbath. What does the Sabbath look like for you? Maybe pull out your Bible and read a few chapters. Get caught up on your reading in a year. Maybe, you're supposed to be inside most of the time, but maybe give yourself, if you got trees in the backyard, give yourself a half hour or an hour or so to put up a hammock and bundle up in a sleeping bag. I don't know.
Sleeping bag, because it's still freezing here in spring break.
It's a chance to just kind of refocus on who God is and what He's doing in your life. We have Right Now Media at the church. There's all sorts of great resources there to check out. Worship music. We just posted a video a little bit ago. You can check out Justin Sluter Music on Facebook, or I'll add the YouTube link later. But there's some worship music available there. If you want any more suggestions for some Christian artists that you can listen to, listen to that music and really think about the words, and maybe sing along. Just think about the promises that God has for us. During a time like this, it's so important that we focus on the bright side, to focus on the things that we're thankful for, to focus on those promises, right, on hope, because there's so much happening around us that wants to remind us that there's not hope, wants to tell us the lie that there's not hope, and that this is going to go on forever, and who knows what's going to happen at the end. And technically, some of those things are true. We don't know how long it's going to be. We don't know how long we'll be stuck in our houses. We don't know how it's going to affect our families or the economy. But what we do know is that even in the midst of terrible times, God is able to work through those things. So take this as an opportunity to rethink what the Sabbath is. So before we go, I'm going to pray to close this out. And let's do that. God, thank you for this opportunity to take a breath, to take a breather, to rethink the Sabbath and what that looks like. I pray that you would help us to get into your word, and that you would illuminate what it is that you want us to see in that. I pray that during this time you would keep our families safe, that you would give them strength to overcome the virus if they get it. I pray that you would give our health workers protection as they're working with people who have this virus. And I pray that you would continue to guide leaders in our communities, in our country, in our state, to know what steps are necessary to take. And I pray this week that we would see your blessings in a new and fresh way. And we pray. Amen.
Amen.
We'll be on the Facebook page and the Instagram page this week with more things that are coming up as far as what we can do online to be together. Some suggestions for some things that you can try to do at home. And I don't know, maybe some witty humor or something throughout the week. But hopefully we'll see you sooner than later. And
stay healthy. Bye.
See ya.